When the 8 presidential candidates take to the podium tomorrow, they will not only be seeking to promote their candidature, but will also use the platform to poke holes in the policies they are each planning to implement should they become president. As broad as it sounds, governance and rule of law form the heart of the democracy practiced in Uganda. Constitutional lawyer Dr. Businja Kabumba says candidates must address themselves to the militarization of institutions in the country.
The biggest challenge is the military factor in our politics, because you have forms of elections, you have institutions, you have the judiciary, parliament, etc. But none of them can work, none of them can deliver an effective transition to democracy if we don't deal with the shadow of the military that hangs over all of us, all of them. As Kanyamba said in his book, revealing about the results of 2006, where the presidential election was supposed to be quashed, but actually, because of military interference, it was maintained.
There are currently 10 army representatives in parliament. The executive director of FIDA Uganda, Irene Ovunji, says the issue of militarization is evident when members of parliament who subscribe to the ruling NRM party meet at the National Leadership Institute in Chankwanzi.
And they're dressed in military fatigues. That is an indicator. They're dressed like military. That's an indicator. You know, I'm not a young person. The last time I remember seeing that sort of thing was in the 70s, in Idi Amin's time, when civil servants, cabinet ministers were forced to dress up as if they were soldiers. It clearly shows the thinking and the ideology behind is still one where there's a fusion of military and state.
Ovunji advises that candidates should speak candidly on the issue of women and youth participation in the political space.
And so on of elections, not just what happens on the voting day, but there are certain things which we've seen in the past year that personally I think dissuade a lot of women. Like when you see women in the opposition, those ones in FDC, getting stripped, it puts off so many women from participating in politics. And there's a message that it sends that if you're a female and you want to participate in this space, you can only do it in one party.
Candidates will likely be queried on issues of institutional development and independence of the judiciary, constitutionalism and democratic culture. Other questions could center around the exercise of power, term limits, the role of the army in multi-party politics, the succession question, size, cost and efficiency of public administration, and corruption.
There should be strong measures to ensure that the leaders, and especially the president who wins, ensure that no money is leaked out through corruption of any kind.
The opposition has not been spared and has also come under the spot for not providing alternatives to the current government. Whereas Makerere political don Sabit Makara disagrees with this view, he acknowledges that the opposition needs to bite harder than it backs.
We wish that it could be stronger than what it is, and that would make the government much more effective.
Kabumba believes that there needs to be a boycott of the election for the governance system to be streamlined.
You've had real indications that those elections will not and cannot deliver any change. And so for me, the danger of those elections is that they just serve to legitimize. They make it appear as if the situation is the normal one, yet in fact, all indications suggest not.
Candidates will also debate social services and the economy. Sharon Huchre, NTV.